Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Planet Sport Interviews. This is a series that we haven't really done since the summer, so we've decided to bring it back. And this year, we're going to be bringing you obviously plenty more of exciting content. And we have the US Swim Open Water team, a representative from them. So, why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers and listeners out there?
Yeah, I like the fact that you've introduced me as US Open Water. I like that. It's actually pronounced as Uswim, Uswim Open Water. And we're basically running open water sessions down here in Salford Quays.
Yeah, and your name is as well?
Sorry, my name is Dave Quartermain. I'm the director down at Uswim Open Water. So I'm the guy who runs it.
Yeah, and of course, in a world where sport is probably or individual training and home exercise is so important, I guess a lot of people have maybe forgotten about outdoor sports. So it's quite interesting to sort of take it back and sort of appreciate the open waters as well. I'm not much. I used to be a swimmer in swimming baths, but I don't think it's quite. I don't think it's quite the same. We're going to get into that today. So first of all, why don't you get us started on pretty much what people are going to want to know when they click on this, which is Uswim. Who are you? What do you do? What's your background? What is the the basis of this organization?
Yeah, about 15 years ago, I set up the company Uswim because there was an increasing demand from people to swim outdoors, really. So I set the company up as a swim coach in a lake and in Salford Quays with the kind of idea to provide like a safe place for people to swim. And over the years, there's been like an increasing kind of interest in open water swimming. Loads of people have done triathlons or who've started swimming in a swimming pool want to try something a little bit different. So they kind of migrate into the open water. So there's been a massive boom in open water swimming. And you kind of look at the media now and the adverts, you see people running into the sea and jumping into lakes, and wild swimming has really taken off. So there's just been a massive boom in open water swimming, and it kind of started many years ago. Pretty much, when I started the sessions, and they've grown exponentially, and now down in Salford Quays, in Dock 9, near where the Lowry Theatre is, we're getting really big attendances. So yeah, good news really.
Why do you think that there's been a particular boost recently in terms of the amount of people that want to do swimming? Because of course it's always been quite a popular sport here. So I just want to get your thoughts on maybe why you think that there's been such a sudden rise. Of course, maybe the public perception of the physical activity is maybe taking a positive upswing. But what are your thoughts on the sort of the upturn in people doing it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like swimming, even indoor swimming is one of the most popular activities, in the UK.
Yeah.
It's huge anyway, and there's massive benefits to swimming in terms of general health, physical and mental well-being. So swimming is great. Open water swimming is a completely different animal, and it has a different kind of like demand, really. There's been a massive growth, I think, since the time it was accepted into the Olympic program. There was like a 10K open water swim. It became an accepted kind of thing to do. Since it's got accepted into the Olympics, a lot of young people in swimming squads are kind of taking part in open water swimming because it is now part of the national governing body requirements to swim. So it being generally accepted by the swimming community, it's become much more popular generally. I think triathlon is huge. You look like the kind of guy done a triathlon, honed, muscular kind of fit guy. Triathlon has gone huge since the 1970s. And I think people who do triathlon, they suddenly realize swimming outdoors as part of a triathlon is like an amazing thing to do. So I think with the upsurge in triathlon, there's been a big increase in the amount of people who are doing open water swimming. So there's a kind of a number of reasons why open water swimming is got really hot at the moment. Not literally, but it is very popular. It's because, a lot more people are doing it. It has great sort of benefits, and a lot of people who swim with us kind of swear by its kind of like its mental health benefits. They kind of
Right.
really buzz in when they get out of the water. So yeah, I think once people do open water swimming and realize how amazing it is, they kind of want to do more. So I think that's part of the reason why it's so successful. It's great to do.
You mentioned the Olympics is obviously something that we've all watched and something that many of us love to take part in. And some people might see open water swimming and think, do you know what? It sounds interesting. Now, to a lot of people, they still might not really know what it encompasses. So, what I sort of want you to break down now is what exactly is open water swimming? What does it involve? Is there a particular setup to the way that you do it? Is it sort of a race? Is it more of a points based competition where you're ranked on how well you swim? How exactly does the sport itself work?
Yeah, good question. Um, Essentially, open water swimming is just like indoor swimming, but outdoors. So, if you imagine you came down to Salford Quays, you've got a huge dock there. That is your outdoor swimming pool. So, all the things that you do indoors, you do outdoors. But normally, what people would do outdoors, there's a subtle difference. They might wear a wetsuit that's going to protect them from the cold, maybe help them with buoyancy. Um, they'll need to have the experience of swimming out their depth and have the fitness to be able to kind of keep swimming for a certain amount of distance. I mean,
Right.
you'll appreciate that if you're going to jump in kind of water that's deep and dark in a big dock, you've got to have the physical kind of like fitness and also the confidence to be safe in that
Yeah, of course.
area.
Yeah.
But what you do need like a modicum of like technique. So if you're a relatively sort of like strong swimmer indoors, that will stand you in great stead when you swim outdoors. If you came to one of our sessions, you'd kind of like you'd meet somebody, they'd talk through the process. You'd probably have to wear a wetsuit. A lot of people will wear swim caps. Swim caps keep the heat in.
Yeah.
Um, and then you'd set off. And it might be initially when you swim open water that you'd go to a supervised session somewhere where there's kind of like water safety involved. I wouldn't necessarily advocate jumping in at your local reservoir or lake where there's no
Yeah.
safety. You want to go somewhere where there's a level of supervision and you're offered with some support really. So yeah, open water swimming. If you can swim, you've definitely got the ability to swim outdoors.
What about for beginners then? What do people need to sort of get involved? There'll be plenty of people that might be more interested in open water swimming that haven't maybe done indoor swimming before. So for someone who's maybe wanting to get started, what would they need to get started? And also, how different is it from typical pool swimming? Because of course you've got the extra added element of currents and tides. I'd imagine that underwater currents are probably something that you have to look at in detail in terms of safety. Like you said, you don't want anyone just jumping into a lake or a canal where you don't know what the flow of the water is like. In terms of how you go about it for someone who's just starting out, what skill set do they need to really sort of hone in on, or what skill sets can they learn during your sessions as well?
Yeah, good point. Um, Certainly where we do our open water swimming, in say Dock 9 in Salford Quays, or we've got a lake in Cheshire, you're never going to have tides, you're never going to have currents. So there's a kind of level of safety. If me and
Right.
you would go to the beach and jump in the sea, then there's a whole host of different skills that we'd need. When you're within inland water, those kind of challenges are taken away from you. Huge thing is the cold. So a
Yeah.
lot of people, if they swim in a pool, they might be used to swimming in, say, 29, 30 degrees. To jump in the Keys at the moment, it's like 5, 6 degrees. So there's a massive difference in temperature. So people have to kind of familiarize themselves to those kind of temperatures and acclimatize. So if somebody was wanting to get involved in open water, obviously a lot of it is around common sense. It's making sure that you're probably going to organizations like ourselves, Uswim, that are experienced in kind of helping you kind of manage the challenges. So yeah, I would definitely advocate going to supervised sessions which are safe. I'd definitely advocate maybe hooking up with a friend as well. We see a load of people come to our
Mm.
sessions, mates. It's a very social kind of thing. So a
Yeah.
lot of people come with friends. There's a real buzz around sort of open water swimming with friends. So you might want to come along with someone who's experienced. You might want to join one of the introduction to open water workshops, something that's going to give you the knowledge to get the best out of the sport.
Right.
So most of it's common sense, I've got to say, and
Yeah.
an attitude. It's kind of that commitment. It's having the attitude of like giving it a go, doing something a little bit daring, something a bit out of the ordinary, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's about pushing yourself, I guess, and sort of pushing the boat out really in terms of what people feel that they're comfortable doing.
Literally.
Um, and it's always a massive benefit in sport. It can get people to sort of push themselves out and get out of their comfort zone and feel comfortable doing something else. I think certainly swimming is one of those things to do that as well because it's so physically demanding. You touched earlier upon the mental health side of things and the benefits of uh, the physical activity side of things on that. What would you sort of note as the key benefits, really, for someone who's looking to start it? They've got the information from Uswim doing sessions. They now know what they need to be. They need to be sensible. They're just getting started, but they want to know, what am I going to really benefit from this? Is there a solid sort of maybe 3 to 5 points that you could really sort of nail down as a list for people to look at and think, yeah, do you know what? That's the activity for me.
Yeah. There's a big focus at the moment around mental health, especially during lockdown. A lot of people are
Yeah.
going crazy, you know. So by doing something a little bit different, challenge themselves, being in those kind of environments where you're kind of pushing yourself, you tend to kind of like develop your confidence and self-confidence. And so many swimmers with us, they kind of swim outdoors and they come out and they go, that was incredible. Wow. It's the exhilaration on people's faces when they leave the water. And there is something about jumping in cold water that creates such a rush. I mean, what happens physiologically is your immune system is boosted. You basically, your breathing increases, your heart rate increases. There's lots of physical benefits for swimming, obviously. Mentally, what tends to happen is your body's kind of flushed with these marvelous things called endorphins. So as you're swimming around, there's a real sense of exhilaration. And when people get out, they really feel like on top of the world and buzzing. Physically and mentally, they're coming out like, wow, this was amazing. So, and that's why we've got like over probably like 6,000 members. Like at some of the
Wow.
sessions last year, we had like close to 800 people swimming within our Saturday sessions down in the Quays. So it's really popular. And I think it's popular just because it's such an amazing thing to do, really, and social. One of the biggest growths in the sport is amongst kind of women who come down in friendship groups. It's a great place to meet people, great place to kind of bring friends. So yeah, many benefits. But what I would say is like anything, don't just kind of like talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. You got to come down. You got to give it a go, and then you can judge the benefits for yourself, really.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent way to put it, to be fair. Now, obviously, in terms of, we are in lockdown at the moment. So do you currently do sessions with much smaller groups, or can you do sessions at all in this sort of situation?
Yeah, currently, we're obviously guided by the government guidelines and everything else, as everybody else is, and we want people to be safe and COVID safe. So what we are doing at the moment is providing one-to-one swimming sessions, whereby a person would come down to Uswim, be in the water, supported by a kayak as water safety, and that
Right.
would mean we kind of can be socially distanced. The person swimming around is kind of safe as well. So I think it is on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays down in Salford Quays. We're still running one-to-one swim training sessions. This time of the year, we'd probably be running large polar swims for up to 150 people. But because obviously of the social distancing guidelines, we can't do
Yeah.
that. And as soon as they relax, hallelujah, hopefully that's going to happen soon, then we'll restate those. But at the moment, we're just able to offer one-to-one sessions throughout the winter.
Yeah, it's definitely the way to do it. Obviously, there's been me personally as well with university societies such as kickboxing and things like that. I've had to stop completely, which is bit frustrating, and football as well. So it's yeah, it's all a bit up in the air. So it's nice. I think for it's nice to know that there is activities out there for people to be able to do still within lockdown in a safe way. Now let's get into maybe you personally, Aaron. Let's get to know Dave a bit in terms of your sort of personal feelings on the sport in terms of the fact, how did you get into the sport? Sort of what personal achievements have you had in the sport, if you have any? What got you into this sport in the first place?
Yeah, funny enough, my mum was a lifeguard when I was growing up. So
Oh
even
right.
yeah, I grew up in a little place called Marple in Stockport, and as a kid, my mum was a lifeguard. So from the earliest time I can remember, I've always been in and around water. I remember us having to go on a Saturday and Sunday when my mum was working, and we'd be swimming all day from kind of 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock at night. She wouldn't let us out the swimming pool. That
God, I'll be exhausted.
were like my childminders. So I grew up swimming, and swimming was just something I loved doing. And we lived there by the side of a canal in Marple, and that's where we swam. So from the age of 4 or 5, we used to kind of like swim in this local canal. And
Right. Okay.
growing up, it felt like a natural thing to do is to sort of jump into the canal and swim around. My mum would be on the side; she'd be watching us swim around, which is quite fun. And as I got older, I started getting competitive, joined clubs. I was always an average swimmer, but I kind of found my forte in my early 30s when I kind of went to swim the English Channel, and I got really
Wow.
into open water swim. My goal was always to swim the English Channel. I mean, that was like, I think for an open water swimming the English Channel is like our Mount Everest. That's
Oh
like
yeah,
one
100%. Yeah.
of the iconic things you can do, isn't it? So I always had that dream to swim the English Channel, and I kind of went for it 3 times in my early 30s. Never quite made it, but I attempted it 3 times. But at that time, I got to be a really good swimmer because I was training so often, and I was probably top 3 in the country at the time. Seems like a while ago now, but I was top 3 in the country. Then went over to Manhattan, swam around Manhattan Island. I was the first guy from Britain to ever win the race. So I was in pretty good form around that time in the kind of like mid late 90s, and achieved loads of things that I wanted to achieve. And I think because I just love swimming and I love open water, it kind of led me to want to organize things for other people. And I did all my coaching badges, started working at local triathlon clubs, and I think that's when I looked at opening a couple of my own venues. And it's around that time that I opened up kind of Salford Quays, and I opened up my own lake in Cheshire, just to kind of like welcome people into the open water. And it's kind of grown from 10 people. I remember the first year I started in the late 90s, there was just 10 people came to a session. For a whole year, there was just 10
God,
people.
and it's expanded to that size as well.
Yeah, and it's
That's
expanded
amazing.
to where it is now. Yeah, so it's happy days in lots of ways.
Yeah, I mean that's fantastic growth. I mean to go from 10 people to around 800, like you said earlier, is pretty phenomenal considering it was only what 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of growth. I mean, top three in the country. I mean, to be fair, I was proud getting my level 7 uh, award when I was like 10 years old at the swimming baths. So top three in the country is certainly very very impressive.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever be able to dream of crossing the English Channel. I mean, how far is that to swim?
It's literally 21 miles as the crow flies, like 36K.
That is
But what
crazy.
you do tend to do with the kind of nature of the currents in the English Channel, you tend to swim around 24, 25 miles, in that's the distance. And
Right.
the beauty of swimming the English Channel is it's like a really pure challenge. You're not allowed to touch the boat, so when you swim it, you're alongside like an escort boat, and if you touch it, that means you're disqualified.
Right.
You're not allowed to be given any kind of support at all. So it's basically just you and the channel, which makes it one of the most purest kind of athletic challenges out there, really.
Mm. Yeah, I'd imagine you'd have to fight through some less calm waters. shall we say, maybe at points.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely a challenge. I always find that fascinating. Like, you know, proper sort of the more wilderness ish challenges where it's just you against the elements, and it's just someone again that's going across something that is, it's like you said, it's just you and the English Channel, and that's all there is to it, and it's just about fighting through it. I always find challenges like that, I think, a lot more fascinating. um Now, some people might think about swimming the English Channel and automatically be like, "Whoa, that's not the sort of open water for me. That's not. That's a bit out of my league." And some people in general might just be scared of swimming in open water itself. There are some people that aren't keen on water itself, but maybe want to get into it and maybe beat that or conquer that fear. So, to those people, what would you say to people that might be scared or worried about delving into this particular experience?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I think whether people are swimming 100 meters around a dock, going for the English Channel, I think that all of that is incredible. You
Mm,
know, we have people who are training just to swim 400 meters, and they will come week on, week out just to build the level of fitness and the confidence levels to swim 400 meters. And that is their Mount Everest. That is their swimming the English Channel. Equally, people will come to us and they are training to swim the English Channel. So everybody has their own different goals, and that old saying, isn't it? Every journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
yeah.
Um, so people kind of should just maybe commit themselves to starting small, building up the confidence, building the fitness. It's amazing how far people can go once they make that commitment. And I found as well, if you maybe yourself, Tom, when you enter an event, it's a real goal. So if you have the kind of
Yeah.
target swimming, I don't know, like a 1 mile swim in the Greater Manchester Swim, for instance, that is a huge goal, and that will keep you motivated. And because you've got that training goal, you'll have to go week on, week out and get the fitness and make that kind of commitment. So I think entering an event is a really good thing. And find out if it floats your boat. Find out where your limits are. Push your limits. Always push yourself,
Yeah.
Always challenge yourself. And I think the beautiful thing about open water swimming is it's psychological, and you are challenging your fears. Loads of people kind of like hesitate to go in the open water because they're going to be out of the depth. It's dark. They feel like there's something under them. They're going to drown. There's a shark. They have all these irrational
Yeah.
fears.
That is me.
Yeah. It's a very common thing. And like when you try it, you suddenly realize, wow, I'm safe. I can do this. And it has a massive spillover into other parts of your life, or it can do. The fact that you're now able to kind of like be confident and competent doing something that is quite extreme, then you
Yeah.
might go, say, well, hey, I've always wanted to do something else, or, I've always wanted to challenge myself to do something else. So it's a great starting point. I think open water is a brilliant way to kind of push yourself to achieve anything you want in life.
Yeah, I think that you've put that really nicely, to be honest. I think anyone listening to that would probably be inspired. I'd be surprised if they weren't. Because that is at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. It is about, I've just knocked my earphones out. I don't know what I'm doing. At the end of the day, it is about, finding something to maybe challenge yourself, and it's finding something to maybe seek that extra bit of adrenaline, that extra bit of a rush. Um, and, with organizations like Uswim, people are obviously able to learn that in a safe and monitored way, and they're able to hit those milestones that they set. Me personally, my sort of not really forte, but my general fitness comes from running. So even setting goals like that, like I want to run this distance in this amount of time, and if you build up to it and hit that, it is very satisfying. And imagine it is similar with swimming. You build yourself up to try and hit that distance. And when you do it, you really do feel that sense of accomplishment. And for serotonin and endorphins, like you mentioned earlier, it's massively, massively important. And hence why exercise is so beneficial. Um, Now, as we sort of come over to the last couple of questions, if people, I'm sure by now, people listening and watching, uh, I'm sure there's definitely people that would want to get involved, particularly as it's going on during lockdown. So, in terms of you swim or yourself personally, if people want to get involved and they want to find you or they want to find you swim, how would they go about in doing that?
Yeah. And first of all, we're always welcoming new people. So what we do have is a really friendly little setup. So it's not like some big scary elite thing where you have to be a super athlete. That is so not what we are. If people want to get involved, we're running swim training, one-to-one swim training throughout the winter down in Salford Quays. And that's on, say, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We run introduction to open water sessions for smaller groups. Again, all socially distanced, all kind of super safe. And they're a brilliant way to kind of literally break the ice. Come down, give it a go. We can be found at on our websites, www.uswimopenwater.com. And it's the letter U and then swimopenwater.com. All the information is on there. It's got the booking, booking and information. So it'd be fantastic to see you down. Alternatively, just drop us an email, and if we can answer any of your questions, be brilliant to share our passion.
And is there a particular sort of age group? Maybe do you have like different age classes for certain groups? What's the sort of youngest to oldest, I guess you would say?
Yeah, I tell you what was mad last year during lockdown, because all the leisure centres closed down. We had loads and loads of kind of squad swimmers from,
Right.
say, City of Salford Swimming Club or
Yeah.
Earl Swimming Club or Stockport. We were having up to 40 or 50, highly talented young people coming down, and we were training them in the dock. And it's great because we're still seeing a load of them young people who tried open water for the first time out of necessity. They're still coming down, which is pretty special. But yeah, the youngest we would have in our lake in Cheshire, particularly during the summer when it's warm enough, is anything from 3 years old. All
Oh,
the way up.
right. Wow.
Yeah. And they come down with mum and dad, they'll be splashing around. Then as soon as they probably hit their kind of early teens, they might be coming with friends. They might be doing some training with us, part of our squads. But yeah, there's a real mix of abilities and age groups, down at Uswim. I think the beautiful thing about open water, it is so accessible. There's in the main, it is, most of us are average, in the main. It's not for the elite high-end swimmer. It's for, ordinary people who want to do kind of extraordinary things, really.
Yeah. And so there you go. It is open for all ages. So if you're 3 years old and you're watching, I don't know what you're doing if 3 years old on YouTube, but yeah, fair enough. I think it's nice to have availability for all ages, and of course you want to be all encompassing as well. It's nice to know that people can join in when they want as well. So finally, I'm gonna wrap this up on quite maybe this might be quite difficult. This always catches people out. This last one. So I tend to maybe sort of be a little bit more lenient than what the producers have told me, which is if you could describe open water swimming in one word, what would you choose that one word to be?
Exhilarating.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Exhilarating. Yeah, I like that one. I've had a few people say like, "Oh, could we have 3 words?" Or I'll be like, "Oh, I'll give you 3 words." But I think exhilarating is probably the best way. That's the vibe that I get from it anyway. So, well, Dave, thank you very very much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. Of course, it is. It's been a busy and tough period for us all, but it's nice to know that people like yourself are helping people get out and about and keeping fit and keeping happy as well, keeping people smiling, keeping the social interaction going. It's hugely, hugely important. I think a lot of us have learned that this year. And I just wanted to say to the viewers, thank you all for watching this interview. If you did, all of Uswim's details will be on screen and in the link in the description. So make sure to check the description. Can't stress this enough. Also, A lot of the people that have been viewing the videos are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you like the video, drop us a like, drop us a subscription. It helps the channel out, and it doesn't cost anything. So this is all free content available purely to educate and inspire, really. And that's what we aim to do here on Live with the Quays. So we hope you can join us for the future interviews. 2021 is set to be a big year for the channel, and plenty more fantastic interviews for you this year. So everyone, I hope you stay safe, keep happy, keep fit, keep surrounded with the people that you love, and make sure to keep yourself busy. But until the next episode, we hope you stay safe. Take care, everyone.